Edmonton not immune to the ripple effects of the murder of George Floyd at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer. From over 10,000 people rallying at the legislature, to an impromptu march downtown, to a debate at City Hall leading to $11 million of EPS's budget diverted, only a fraction of what activists called for. And on this anniversary, Edmonton Police introducing a new unit that they say is an example of a change in policing that was in the works before this tragedy reignited the debate over the role of police.
We want to most involve ourselves with the offenders who are causing the most harm in community.
Trying to prevent a crime before it happens, police connecting those identified through data at the highest risk of committing another crime with social agencies, a department called the Diversion and Desistance Branch, or D&D.
Fundamental that we work together. Not one will be successful without the other.
Think housing, addiction treatments.
It's a step in the right direction, in part because we know from a criminological standpoint that a relatively small number of offenders are in fact responsible for relatively large majority of offenses.
Professor Temitope Oriola knows that social agencies want more crossover and communication with police. Glad to see this EPS program that started in January 2020 now employ 3 social workers and look at the trauma that often leads someone to crime, but personally believes it could go one step farther.
I would like to see social welfare agencies take a greater role with the police not too far behind. So guiding, encouraging, nudging.
Trying to prevent the problem before it starts.
Sergeant Renee Martignac works with repeat offenders in the D&D and says there's one thing an officer can do that social workers can't: accountability if more crimes are committed.
I'll say, like, it's time for a timeout, man. I'm going to have to, unfortunately, breach you on these outstanding conditions. It's, you need to go back to jail. And when they do go back to jail, I've actually had a few offenders say, like, thank God you put me back in here. Like, I was out of control. The drugs were too bad. Or
we need to take action.
Professor Oriola spoke at last summer's protest in the wake of George Floyd's murder. A year later, now the special advisor to Alberta's Police Act review, he's cautiously optimistic.
Police services and the communities they serve can find one another.
That we'll hear more announcements going farther than this one today. In Edmonton, Carly Robinson, City News.